Well, hello everyone, welcome back. I am here today with you completely raw. I have no makeup on. I have this giant spot on my neck. It looks like it's white-headed, but it hasn't yet. I'll get it when it does. My brows aren't done. Nothing is done. I have a breakout. It is all happening. But listen, I want to talk to you about makeup mistakes. And we've done this a few times before, but there's a few things I've learned. Asking people how they do their makeup, getting answers back, and they're having issues with things. I have some new things I want to talk to you about. Some we've spoken about before, but some I want to touch on again. And these are things that you could be doing in your makeup that just seem so basic. And like, I do this every time. Why is it going wrong? Or maybe you've got so used to doing it a certain way that it isn't looking its best, and and you're just like, you know what? I'm done. So there's a few things I want to talk about. Let's get into it. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Please go ahead and follow me on oh my god, see, there's something wrong with me today. On Instagram at RobertWLSH for more like tips like this, if you like more makeup focused stuff. Okay, let's talk about eye primer. There is such a thing as using way too much primer, okay? On the face, on the eyes, on the lips. You can definitely use too much. It isn't any primer anywhere in your face. It isn't a case of the more you use, the better the hold, the more the grip. And sometimes actually using more than you need can be detrimental to your makeup. Imagine trying to build up layer and layer and layer of product to a point where it kind of just slips off itself. I need to cover this thing up on my neck. I can't stop looking at it. Okay, so let's take an eye primer. One thing I see so many people do online is they take a lot of their eye primer, like they really stack it up. And it's almost like they are trying to paint their eyelid for some reason. And they'll start around the brow. They'll do this. It's like thick with paint, almost. But instead of blending that out, they then go on with a flatter brush. They go on with a flat brush and kind of build it up like this. So they're patting more and more eye primer onto the lid like this. And you know what? Yes, it covers. It's, you know, if that's what you want. But we'll keep an eye on it, because what we're going to experience is, in fact, more creasing. There's not this solid layer. The point of eyeshadow primer is to give your eyeshadow something to grip to, right? To hold onto. It's meant to be an even layer, a flat, waxier layer for your eyeshadow to grip onto. So what I prefer to do, so we still get this kind of coverage where we neutralize the eyelid, is take a fluffy eyeshadow blending brush, tap a tiny bit into our primer, whatever we're using. I'm using paint pots today from MAC because that seems to be everyone's go-to. Whereas I do usually use the Sigma one, but I feel like this will be an example everyone can benefit from. And I gently buff that eye primer onto the eyelid, like you would an eyeshadow, right? And you can absolutely build up as you go. I'm not going to take it right up to the brow just yet. Can you see how this is creasing already? And people will be like, yeah, but I powder it. It's like, yeah, but we use eyeshadow primers, so our powder stays on. So how's a powder going to stop it from creasing? That defeats the whole purpose. If a powder was that powerful at stopping creasing, we wouldn't need primer in the first place. So this is it, evenly applied. The eyelid is completely neutralized from any discoloration. It's a really nice even layer. If you wanted to carve out your eyebrows with eye primer, absolutely take that same brush, a little bit of eye primer, and then just go along the brow. Now, preferably, what you carve out your brow with will be a little bit lighter than your primer, or just use a lighter primer. But we still have, look how clean that looks. We're not going to get any creasing. This is already creased because the product isn't trying to hold onto itself. What it needs to do is hold onto your skin. So if it can't actually access your skin underneath, and then they'll go around and they'll tap it in and be like, oh, it's fine, we're just tapping the creases. And then you put powder on top and it gets all to this sticky, horrible, patchy mess. And look, even my eyelid is like, it's like sticking to the primer. This is all you need. This is all you need to have that really nice base for eyeshadow. Okay, let's talk about eyebrows, because there seems to be this brow measurement in place at the moment. I'm going to use this brow. This is the what not to do side. You know what? Oh, that's not a brow pencil. Just so I remember. So there seems to be this brow measurement I see online where, you know, we measure our brows like this, right? So the beginning of a brow, the arch of a brow, and then the tail of a brow should be from a corner of your eye outwards. And now if my eyebrows were ideal, where's that? It's about here. I would drag the tail outwards a little bit more. Keyword being outwards. but in turn you would have to like lift the arch as well. However, I quite like my brows, that's just rough. See, I quite like my brows to be cut off and straight across, because then I can add a tail if I want to, or I can just make them look straight across. What I've seen people doing recently is almost bringing the tail off their brow to the tip of their eye. So they're almost doing this, and I can't for the life of me understand why. This completely like closes off your eye. One, you're like decreasing the length between your eye and the brow. See how this side looks, nothing's changed apart from the brow. Looks a little bit more lifted, whereas this side is just completely closing off my eye. Here's the deal though, this is technically where my brow should end. That's where my brow should end. But then so is this. So please don't measure your brows and think you need to meet certain points. It's about the distance you take it as well. This is so unforgivable. Like, I'm all down for people learning from their mistakes, but I don't see why you would want to curve your brow back into your eye. You know what I mean? I just find that a little bit strange. Little eye primer checkup, that's creasing. Something I think goes without saying. Listen, I love white eyeliner pencil. I think it's really good for certain looks, from certain time periods. But day to day, it just doesn't look good. The thing about white eyeliner is it's obviously white, right? The whites of our eyes, unless you use like brightening eye drops, aren't pure white. They will never be pure white. So not only does this make me look tired, it makes my waterline look weirdly swollen. Even if I had eyeshadow on underneath, it looks like I've got a swollen waterline. Listen, it doesn't mean you can't brighten the inside of your eye. Just use a flesh color pencil. This is the one from Colourpop, and it's all about the angles as well. A lot of people get the white liner caught on their lashes, and it looks a bit strange. It looks a bit weird, to be honest with you. So you kind of want to bring up your pencil a little bit higher. Oh, which way is probably better? A little bit higher than normal. Look up into your mirror, and there we have a bit more of a softer option. Would I do this on myself? No. If I was wearing like maybe a brown eyeshadow look and I wanted to do that, then I would. But this just looks so much more real, I guess, a little bit. It looks brighter than this. This looks like the color white. It looks crazy. I look crazy. Whereas this still has that brightness to the waterline. Whereas this looks like chalk, right? It kind of looks like, if you saw someone who did this, you'd be like, what are they doing? That's not saying don't use it. Carry on using it. But if you're kind of getting over the white eyeliner thing, you're like, no, it's not me anymore. Go to a fleshy tone. Go to a more like nudie, peachy tone like this. Okay, what was next? This is a very specific one. This is a very specific issue, not issue, but something you might be experiencing, and that's freckles. Fake freckles. So what a lot of people do is, this is a fake freckle pen. This is from, what was it, Brow and Freckle from Saatchi. They do like freckles like this. And then they take their finger and then they do this to kind of like spread it around, which you're meant to do, right? You're meant to like print them other places. But one thing about this is they start to look like just dots on the face, and they can look very uniform. The thing about freckles, like the beauty of freckles, is they're sporadic. They're never the same size. They're not always the same size. They're in different depths as well. So if you're going to do freckles, you can absolutely use your finger. But here's what you do. You do 2 or 3 very light freckles up in this corner here. Very lightly. Print it with your finger and then move your finger around like this. And you want to start getting these lesser. Can you see how some of these freckles are like not showing up? I'm showing you quite a strong dark color because I want you to see how they turn out, but you should be like almost printing and then twisting your finger around so you get the different dimensions of freckles. Some up by the brow too. Literally can do that upside down. And with freckles as well, they always look nicer where the sun would hit our face. It's not how they're made, but if you're thinking about where to put them, that's where they look better. Now, of course, you need to think of color as well. I wouldn't go this dark on me. I would use more of a brownie flesh. But can you see how this looks a little bit more sporadic? You have like the lesser density ones and then the quite dense freckles. Imagine if that was the right color for me, rather than these, which look like I'm doing like a theater production. You know what I mean? and spreading them around. Do some here, do some like up by this area of the brow too. I'm gonna look crazy after this. I'm gonna look so crazy. Okay, last but not least, we have lip liner. And dragging your lip liner. Where did I put that? So I was speaking to someone who told me, I'm gonna have to do the whole lip, that they were having issues like with their lip liner, right? It was looking feathery, it wasn't looking good. And the way they were applying their lip liner was like this, which looks fine on me, but I am a professional makeup artist. And some people can do that and it looks great. But some people really have an issue with their lip liners when they do this. It can feather, it can catch on their skin, it can drag their skin, especially if you have more texture around the lips. So here was my tip to them. If that's what you're having, if you're having issues doing that, we're gonna break our lip into 4 different parts, right? When we're doing our lip liner. And it's gonna be corner to middle, corner to middle. Don't drag the whole way around your lip and hope to get this like perfect hoop. It's like drawing a perfect circle. It's really difficult for some people. So start from the corner of your mouth and meet in the middle. Like this. I'm also going backwards and forwards with my pencil. To get more of a crisper, sharper line. And we're gonna go from the outside corner to the Cupid's bow. And same again on the other side. So we have a softer, more precise lip. Going backwards and forwards, a lot of people say don't do it, but I really like how you can kind of feel the lip a little bit more that way. You can understand the shape a little bit more. When you're dragging just once, you feel the pencil once and it's done. You know what I mean? I hope you learned something from that. I hope it was helpful to some of you. Please do consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and do so. It's at RobertWLSH, where I share videos over there that I don't share here on YouTube. Or earlier than. And I will see you very soon. Bye.